This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is the List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle.
You are listening to List Building Lifestyle. Welcome back to another edition. I have here with me your host, your leader, your mentor, your guide, Mr. Igor Kheifets. How goes it, sir?
Goes it well, sir. Very well. In fact, it feels really, really good now that, you're back from your trip and, my life is back to normal because, not having you there for a little while was really difficult.
Look, Igor, let's not play around. I just feel lucky that you let me come back after my damaging admission in the last episode. So thank you for having me here. What do you have in store for us today?
Well, Jonathan, I love doing episodes. I love talking about, first off, I love talking. And second, I love talking about
Really?
myself. Yeah, I'm not sure if you paid attention in the previous 60 something episodes that we've done so far. But I love doing episodes about things that come up all the time, things that are evergreen, the problems that I know people experience every single freaking day. And so one thing that keeps popping up that I never spoke about is this. And, I believe this episode is going to be tremendous for many of our listeners and many list builders. That is basically this. The question I get a lot is, Igor, I'm already buying your traffic. I'm already buying traffic from other people as well. I'm already emailing my list every day. I understand the value of list building. What else should I be doing? How come sales aren't coming in? How come, I feel I'm missing something? And we already spoke about, right, in the previous episode, we spoke about how to escape the whole if I just mentality. If I just have this one extra trick, if I just do this thing right. And that's one element, okay, you should keep in mind. But let's just say you are doing it right. Let's just say you feel like you're doing everything you're supposed to do, but yet at the same time, there's something else you should be doing in order to bring more sales for yourself and your business. And I decided that for once, Jonathan, I'm going to do a technical episode, an episode where I'm not going to, yeah, I know, an episode we're not going to be doing this, marketing philosophy. We're actually going to be doing marketing implementation. And, you guys are going to walk away with an action plan from this episode. So there's 3 things you should be doing on a daily basis, okay, in order to develop your marketing presence and have other people want to reach out to you and say, hey, I want to join you in business. I want to buy from your product. I want to, hire you to do this thing for me. Like whatever that is that you do, right? There's 3 things you should be doing to position yourself and to be there, to be present in the marketplace. And that is number 1, reading. Number 2, curating content. I'm going to explain what that means in a second. And 3, selling and making offers. So number 1, reading. Why do you need to read every single day? I recommend reading no less than 30 minutes a day. It's better if you do an hour a day. Even Donald Trump, by the way, if you're thinking that, oh, Igor, I'm so busy, I got a day job and all that bullshit, even Donald Trump wakes up in the morning and reads for 1 hour. If Donald Trump, who wakes up with a list of headaches as long as the Mississippi River, can find an hour every day to read, don't tell me you don't have an hour to read every day. That's just bullshit. You're just making up excuses. So you should be reading every single day for at least an hour because that's the way you become experienced and valuable to your marketplace without actually having, 50 years worth of experience and wisdom behind your back. That's how I became. At the age of 23 or 24, I sounded like I was 54 to my clients, as if I had so much wisdom. I lived a long, prosperous life, but I didn't. All I've done is I consumed enough information and I studied under many, many mentors through books and through courses and through seminars I went to and through private coaching that I've taken as well. And what I've done is I curated their content, which is number 2 thing you have to be doing. Now, curating content is very simple. The principle is learn, do, teach. So you learn something from a guru you're following, from a mentor you're studying with. Then you take that and you implement it in your business. And then you feed back to the marketplace exact same concepts, exact same thing you've done, only through your way of delivery, because you're a different person. So you will deliver that principle, you will deliver that information or deliver that content in your own unique way, which is going to position you as a unique individual, a unique professional in a very intense and volatile marketplace. So number one is reading. Number two is curating content. By the way, Jonathan, if you ever wondered, I'm not sure if you did, but if you ever wondered how does a person step into the marketplace and within a week start positioning themselves as an expert, that's how you do it. You consume content and you curate it to the marketplace. In fact, you should even give credit. You should say, I learned this from so and so, and you should just basically share what you learned. And that puts you in a position of an expert, because all you're doing is you're consuming information from the ones who walked before you, and you're sharing it and you're giving it to the people who walk behind you, which is kind of like this chain, right? This never-ending cycle that we're a part of. Because every single day there's new people coming in, there's people succeeding, becoming gurus, and so you're basically somewhere in between. You're taking from somebody and you're feeding it back to someone else who walks behind you. And all you have to do to be valuable to that person who walks behind you is know a little bit more and be a little bit more experienced than they are. That's all that there needs to happen for them to look up at you and say, oh, wow, I want to work with that person. So number one, again, reading. Number two, curating content. And number three, just as important, is selling. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is, no one will sign up with you unless you make an offer to do so, unless you have a call to action to sign up with you. So I noticed that a lot of people, they have this, they do a lot of things right. Let's be honest. They do a lot of things right, and they're active and they're present in the marketplace. And if you Google their name, shit comes up. Yet they don't make many sales, oftentimes because they don't make many offers to sign up with them. That is actually why I always say that you should pitch in every email. Because the more offers you make to join you in business, the more people will join you. Your income will be in direct proportion to the amount of offers you put out in the marketplace. So these are the three things you should be doing on a daily basis. And if you find yourself ever wondering, what should you be doing? Just do these. Read, curate content, and sell and make offers. That's all you have to do. And if you do this for long enough, you'll find yourself becoming an owner or a creator or at the head of a non-stop prospect and customer generating machine that to the outsider would seem like you're just, flicking your fingers and shit happens. But the reality is, if you do this enough times every single day, the content you create, which is timeless, right? Because the content you create today will be found by somebody 10 years from now, because it's the internet. It doesn't disappear anywhere. It stays. That will lead to an ongoing stream of new customers that come in predisposed to talk to you and to buy from you.
So, Igor, why do you think that so many people out there don't really talk about, well, I guess it depends on who you're listening to, but I find that a lot of the gurus out there don't talk nearly enough about reading more, and here you are just giving away the farm. Why do you suppose that is?
I'll tell you why, Jonathan. Because reading is the single fastest and the cheapest way one can educate himself or herself and become valuable to other people, and thus, of course, become valuable to the marketplace and make money. Because books are cheap, let's face it. I mean, you can get a book for as little as $1. I mean, John Benson's latest release, Open Click Buy, which I highly recommend, which is a book about email marketing. And John Benson is a highly accomplished copywriter who wrote copy for virtually every single major, internet marketing and weight loss launch out there. He sells it for $1. For $8. I read the book last month. Trust me, it's freaking good. The tips he shares are amazing. They literally made millions, if not hundreds of millions collectively to all the people who use them. Yet, it only costs $1, and it only takes a couple of days to read. Or if you're super busy, it'll take you a week. It's brilliant. It's a shortcut. Honestly, it's just one of my shortcuts. If you see my Kindle is just exploding with material, and there's dozens of books I still haven't read, which I really, really want to. So reading is cheap. Reading is fast. And reading gives you the real wisdom. Unlike the courses that they sell for $27.97, $197, $497, $1997, which are created by people that have no substance and have no reason to be preaching you on how to get rich. The one thing I love about books is that, and nobody won't publish it, right? And nobody that doesn't have access to print house and ain't willing to really put themselves out there to go through all the trouble to not only write the damn thing, but also to publish it. I mean, he won't write a book. Somebody who's not qualified to give you advice will not write a book, for the most part. There are a few exceptions. But for the most part, if you only read the books that are recommended by accomplished people, you will, 95% of the time, you will come out, after reading the book, you will come out more equipped, more skilled, more confident, and more excited about taking your life to the next level.
So not to take you off track here, but I don't know where I saw it or heard of it, but are you still doing like the Igors book club or book reviews on YouTube?
To be honest, man, I really want to, but I can't keep up. There's so many things on my to-do list that I have to prioritize, and I've been slacking off. But I will get back on it. I'm making a public statement right now that I will get back on doing Igor's book club, because oftentimes just recommending a book to a client is enough to set them off on a upward trajectory towards success. And that's, I mean, for me, that's big. I mean, we spoke about why I do this. We spoke about why we started the podcast. And the reason is it's the people. It's, educating the crowd about how to really run a business, how to really get rich. And recommending the right book to the right person can often be the difference maker for them that takes them to new heights.
Couple things, and then I want to play devil's advocate, but I agree. Even what I do a lot of times is I get to know the people I work with, and then I find books to match where they're at, because I do a lot of reading, and I find that helps bond us, and that also helps them think differently about things. But let's play. Well, wait. Let's play devil's advocate for a second here.
Come on, I'm ready.
So,
okay. What you got?
Bring it. So then what about the idea of reading too much? Because in the last episode, we talked about the Think and Grow Rich and there wasn't enough action. What about too much reading and not enough action? Is that a thing?
Well, it is. And there is a way to overcome that. It's a principle I learned from my mentor, Tom Beal, who basically said, Igor, you got to make the book your bitch. And I didn't really understand what he meant. Basically, what it turned out to be is you take the book, okay, and oftentimes you don't even have to read the book in its entirety to understand what the concept the book is trying to deliver is all about, right? So if you pick up, let's just say, what are some of the books you read recently, Jonathan? Please help me out here.
Right now, I'm reading The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes.
Okay, great. I was told to read it by Tom, but I never did. But I did see a couple of lectures by Chet, and he's amazing. His lecture on how to hire superstars is absolutely incredible. So basically, if you pick up The Ultimate Sales Machine, I believe the major concept is that you gotta constantly train your salespeople and create an inbound environment where they don't have to go out there to get leads; they just have to close them. Is that correct?
There's a bunch of parts of it, but yeah, definitely there is portions of it that are exactly like you just said.
Yeah. So that's just one of the things you have to kind of walk away with when you're finished with the book. You don't have to remember all the details. You don't have to remember all the stories. You just have to walk away with one major concept, which then starts to govern everything else you do. So that's what making a book your bitch is all about. Like there's this book that I did a video about, a negative video about, which is The One Thing, right? And so what I spoke about is that the book basically says, look, don't try to do a million things. Just find this one thing that if you really get good at it, then you'll be successful. And that's it. That's what 200 pages were about. How they found their one thing, how that one thing doubled their profits and stuff like that. So that was, but you could get that just by reading 10 pages. And that's how many books are, with a few exceptions, like, Think and Grow Rich, for example, we spoke about in the previous episode. And, you can't really read it like that, but you can quickly grasp what the 13 concepts are without having to read the entire book. So basically, if you don't want to get caught up in reading too much and getting stuck in this consumption mode where you have to consume more and more and more information before you go out there and start doing something, then definitely pick out a concept and just make yourself go and curate it.
Yeah, and that's what I want to do, because we talk about selling all the time on here, but the curating part. So once again, I'll play devil's advocate. And when you read a book and then you said you learn and then you do, and then you teach. A lot of people might see that as being sort of an imposter. And how is it not an imposter when you curate?
Well, it sort of is, of course. But you know what? I don't remember who said that. But if you steal one person's material, you are an imposter. You are a hypocrite. You are a fraud. But if you do research and steal from 10 different sources, that's called research. Right. So the one thing you have to understand is that you learned everything from somebody else. There's very few things you learned on your own. Not to mention that even if you did learn them on your own, it doesn't mean someone else didn't talk about those things already. So when it comes to taking someone else's content, I'm fine with it because I know that they learned it from someone else too. And as long as I deliver it in my own set of words and from my own delivery model, if you will, with my own examples, with my own stories, it's all good. However, at the same time, if you're really touchy about this, give credit. Just say, here's an amazing thing I learned from my mentor, Jonathan or Igor or Tom, whatever. Here's what I learned from, today, and just share it. All you got to do, just give credit. And if you think that that is going to make you look bad, or if that's going to diminish your authority in the eyes of your prospects, you're wrong. It will not. In fact, they'll respect you more for it. I mean, how many times, Jonathan, I'm not sure if you ever counted this, but perhaps, I don't know. How many times did you hear me during these interviews, during these podcast episodes? How many times did I recommend Ben Settle and kind of said, I learned this from Ben Settle?
Dude, the guy that you quote the most is Dan Kennedy. Almost like every episode, it's like, I got this from Dan Kennedy.
Yeah.
So it works. And I want to make a book recommendation as we're coming to the end, and it really drives home your point. There's this book called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, and he talks about getting inspiration and telling people where you got it from, of course, crediting people, and how that grows you as a person. So spot on with what you're saying. Short, fun book. So Igor, what do you have coming up for us next time?
Well, Jonathan, first off, I'm getting that book for sure. Okay. And next time I'm hosting the unemployed millionaire, Matt Morris. The guy who went from sleeping in his car a while back to running a multi-million-dollar network marketing operation. He's a walking quoting machine. He literally slept in his car in a church parking lot under a tree, so when he wakes up in the morning, he doesn't get sunburned and he doesn't suffocate. It's an incredible story. He wrote a book about it, and the next episode I'm going to be interviewing him about his journey and about what he believes to be one of the most detrimental components to your success.
Wow. Looking forward to that. So, boys and girls, we have come to the end of another episode of List Building Lifestyle. We will be back in your earbuds next time.
Thank you for listening to the List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.